darkness where there used to be milk and happiness, where there used to be wealth, now it's poverty and danger to health. You saw your people losing humanity, evil, violated conscience and made it empty.
So my name is James Oatway, and I'm an independent freelance photojournalist. I grew up in a small town in Limpopo called Palabora, and after that I studied journalism at Rhodes University. When I finished my degree, I did an internship at the Star newspaper here in Johannesburg, and within the first week there I was privileged enough to meet Nelson Mandela. And that was the moment that really inspired me to become a photojournalist. But after that, I ended up working for many different newspapers. And since 2016, I've been on my own as a freelancer.
Wow. And so part of your work is displayed here at the Johannesburg Holocaust Genocide Centre. So this exhibition that talks about xenophobia in South Africa is very powerful. Why did you choose the Johannesburg Holocaust and Genocide Centre as the center to display this exhibition, and how did it come about?
Okay, so I used to work for the Sunday Times newspaper, and I was there in 2008 when we had our first really big outbreak of xenophobic violence in South Africa. There had been one or two outbreaks before, but they were very small in comparison. In 2008, there was a massive outbreak of violence that spread around the country, and it lasted for more than a month, and many people were killed, and thousands of people were displaced and had to flee. So I covered that as a young photographer. I was sent to cover that as part of my daily job at the newspaper. So then it subsided, and a few years later, unfortunately, it popped up again in 2015, much to my dismay. But there again, I found myself one Saturday morning very early in Alexandra township. And it was, I was with a colleague, a reporter, and we had decided to go very early because we'd heard that there'd been attacks during the night. So we got there just after the sun had risen, and we found a lot of burning barricades, and we could see there'd been looting of shops and things like that. And I was taking some photographs outside a looted shop when I just heard some men shouting, and I turned and I saw a group of men running towards me, and they were actually chasing this man, Emmanuel Sithole.
Evil developing your culture, but nothing was done to stop the fire. So cold, enlightened in the sciences, educated.
I obviously didn't know who he was or who they were at the time. I just assumed that it had something to do with the violence. And there I watched as they began attacking Sithole. At first a man ran in with a kind of a monkey wrench, and he started beating him. And then that first attacker moved away, and then the second attacker moved in. That's this guy here. And he went in with what they call an okapi knife. And I was just moving closer all the time, moving closer and taking photographs, because that was what I was there to do. I didn't know at the time the extent of the injuries that Emmanuel Sithole had sustained during the attack. And what a lot of people don't know is that the period of time from when I took the first picture of the attack to the last picture of the attack was only 27 seconds. So it happened very, very quickly. I think some people think that it might have taken 10 or 15 minutes, but it was really only very quickly. And when the attackers finally noticed that I was there taking pictures, they then moved away. And then then Sithole was sat there, and I was very scared that they were going to come back to carry out or carry on their attack. So I shouted to him to move away. I said, get out of here now, And he got up and he walked away. And I thought that he's going to be okay, because I'd seen people with stab wounds, survive. I didn't expect the wounds to be fatal.
Educated, civilized, and so-called free. Destroy you instead of saving us.
And then to answer the first part of your question, we decided that the Holocaust and Genocide Centre was the perfect place to actually exhibit these photographs, because it's very sensitive material and it's very difficult material. It's hard to look at. These pictures are hard to look at, and one needs to understand the full context of what is happening and the results of hatred and intolerance. And that's why the Holocaust Centre is the perfect place to actually host this exhibition and these photographs, because there's a lot of context here.
Yes, so unfortunately, as you've mentioned, Emmanuel Sithole died. However, there was a brave young man in that incident who tried to help and who attempted to try and save his life. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us more about this young man and his act of bravery?
Yes, so we started to call him the man in the leather jacket, because at the time we didn't know his name. It was only a year or two later that I actually found out what his name was. But during the attack, those brief 27 seconds, I didn't really even notice it because it happened so quickly at the time. But when I looked at my photographs, I saw this guy in a leather jacket, young man, wearing a black leather jacket, and I noticed in the pictures that he's getting in. I think possibly part of me at first might have even thought that he was together with the attackers. But when I looked at the photographs afterwards, I noticed, hold on, but he's actually trying to intervene in the attack, to try to stop the attack.
In 2015, there was the incident,
Yes.
the attack on Emmanuel Sithole.
Yes.
Did you know him?
Yeah, that guy, and then I knew him at the street because there's a guy and then who was selling apples, bananas. Small. I have a small young business.
And then the day he was attacked,
Yeah.
do you know the name of the man who attacked him?
Those guys, I didn't know the names of those guys. It was not a one guy. There was 4 guys.
There were 4.
Yes. I was coming from work. I'm starting to drop then the school bag. After
Yes.
that, then I change it, then the clothes, and then I go to the mall.
So what did you see when you saw this incident?
Yeah, then when I came, then I see then other guys then that are busy then chasing the Emmanuel Sithole. But then I didn't recognize maybe then is it Emmanuel Sithole, because he was running, checking even the bag. But then when I see him, then when he passed next to me, then I see it's Manuel, that guy. And then what's going on? He said that this guy's, and then he beat me. For what? He's trying to explain, but then at the meantime, the guys then was close to Emmanuel Sithole. So and then he started to stab me with a knife at the left hand side.
In front of you?
Yes. I was maybe then 2 meter to 3 meter, and then when I stabbed them, I'm trying to go back to stop those guys.
Yes.
I'm raising even also then the voice.
Yeah.
Guys, just come to help. Just come to assist. There's no one then came there to assist Emmanuel Sithole. I was only one. And also then I think then it's not also even the bravery at my side only, even the God then is the one then he give me the power to supposed to stop those guys. I'm trying after then already then that guy then he stepped the Emmanuel Sithole in front of him. Then I think it's 3 times. He stepped at the left hand side. After that, then there's a young boy who was going with those guys. That was 4. So there's a young boy, and then there's the other ones, those 3. That young boy and then was holding the knife, the kitchen knife. That was one to try to stem Emmanuel Sithole.
He died.
He died.
Wow. And then this changed your life. This psychologically,
Yes.
it was disturbing to you as well. Would you do this again? Would you testify? Would you choose to stand up and try and help Emmanuel Sithole and then become a witness? Would you, if you could do it again, would you do this again, or would you choose differently?
Angitolerate ukuthi umuntu then ayenza into wrong in front of me.
Okay. Yeah.
If it's a good thing, then I'm going to tell you straight. Then my brother, and then no, wawazi umsebenzi lo wenza. But then it's a bad thing. Then also, then I come to you. This is a bad thing, my brother. Why you do this? You have a reason to do that. Just feel that take this pain from that person to put at your side.
Yeah.
Wena uzofila kanjani? Awuthatha le pain uyilethe kuwo. Uyithatha as wena asuwe uyenzayo. Yilo muntu ayenza wena. Uba uzofila kanjani? Sifanele all around as a community. Then sikhona ukuncedana. It's not ukuthi then lento then ngenza mina ngiyi-one. Everybody, if then uyazitshela from enhliziyweni yakhe, from at the bottom of the heart, ukuthi then I want to help. When you help a person, it's not maybe then you must supposed to benefit anything. Just helping the God, then already then he saw you. He giving you all even the days to alive at this earth.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Amasomo n'amasoko y'endimi bisakara Africa n'ukwisi highway hey 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 Africa oh yeah nibikongere.
You know, one of the things we do, one of the messages that we try to reinforce in the minds of young people is choices, that everyone has a choice. And in cases of emergency, what choices do you make? So the man in the leather jacket chose to be an upstander. It was not easy for him. It affected him, his life, his psyche a lot. But you also were an upstander. You went beyond being a journalist. You intervened, you crossed that line. Would you do this again?
On the question of whether I would get involved again, it would all depend. It would depend whether there was anyone else there that was more qualified to help. So, for example, if I was at a situation and there were police there, or paramedics, or ambulance people or soldiers, then I probably wouldn't intervene. But I mean, there actually have been other instances where there has been attacks. And I have intervened, but there have been others where I haven't. So I think a lot of it depends on every individual situation, but it also depends on, I guess, like your motivation on why you're there in the first place. It was very different for me being there because I was there to do a job that day. I wasn't just minding my own business, walking past like the man in the leather jacket. He was just coincidentally happened to be walking past that day. I was there. I knew that there was, violence, on the go, and I was there to do a job. So I think there's a big difference in that. And in my eyes, the man in the leather jacket is a real hero, and more people should try to be like him. More people should have the courage to actually intervene when they see something bad happening or something which they know is wrong.
Twese tugusigasire tuyikireze kwanda hangarizwa umurimo n'urukundo rwanjye kwikubira ibirwara n'inzara nta kabuza imbere hawe ni heza wabonye ahatembaga amata hatemba amaraso ahahora kuki ubukene bukigita amasaso wabonye abawe babura ubuntu ububisha bubaho n'umutima n'amanyamuntu incuke ziracuka kuko n'amacunga wuzuye imfuta abapfaka